So earlier on in the week, I'm scrolling through my Instagram. I'm scrolling through the web version of Instagram because I'm a nerd and I don't have the Instagram app on my phone because it's just way too addicting for me. So I'm scrolling through the web version and I come across a post by my two friends. These guys, they're two best friends living out in Colombia right now. They're working on their online business, doing the whole digital nomad thing. And it's a post of their life out in Colombia. It looks like they're having a lot of fun. They're having a sick time, and I haven't spoken to them in a while. But the business seems to be going pretty well. It's making money. They've got clients, and they seem very focused every time I talk to them. And at the risk of sounding like a selfish prick, because these guys are my friends and I feel very close to them and I am proud for them on some level. Looking at this post, I'm not feeling happiness for them. I'm maybe feeling like a little bit of jealousy. But most of all, I'm feeling it's bringing out some very uncomfortable feelings inside of me. Because these guys, I went to school with them. They're the same age as me. And they've accomplished all of this. They've accomplished they've accomplished what I would consider my dream lifestyle. And yes, I don't know exactly how it is. I'm sure it's like a grass is greener type situation, but there's implications there for what it means for me. I'm feeling some kind of shame, almost some kind of embarrassment, like, why am I not there with them? Am I just lazy? Almost this panic sets in, like I need to work harder, I need to catch up, I need to be there with them. Otherwise I'm inadequate. Because I've been doing this YouTube stuff for years now. Yet my online business hasn't taken off. So what gives? Am I just a lazy piece of shit? Most of the time when I feel these types of feelings, the problem is always me. It's always not working hard enough. And I feel fear. I feel fear that this is never going to happen for me. And I kind of caught myself in those feelings. And this has never really happened before, but I've been learning about this whole concept of emotional regulation, which is, it's the power to experience your emotions without letting them change your mood, without letting them affect you. So to just observe the emotions that are going on inside of you and not react to them, really. And I was feeling those negative emotions in that moment, feeling this sense of shame and panic, and then the feelings that came after, like, I need to work harder. I should be doing more. I'm lazy. If I don't work harder in this moment right now, shit, like, my life's not going to be worth living. I'm never going to succeed. And I realized that these are some quite common emotional patterns that I've fallen into. And it always comes down to, like, me not being enough. I've been learning about this with my coach. And this is essentially what we call fear-based motivation. And what we've got to understand is this is all based on, like, past experiences of failure. Past experiences where you didn't feel like you were enough. Where you felt shame and you used this fear of not feeling like that again because it was so painful as a way of motivating yourself, of driving yourself forward. Like, I'll talk about this openly. I got bullied a lot in school. I got made to feel like less than a person. like I wasn't worthy of anyone's time or attention or affection. I wasn't a likable or like lovable person. I felt that deep down. And a lot of my success from leaving school, like building like a pretty good physique, getting amazing grades in uni, like coming top of the class, landing a good 9-to-5 job that pays pretty well for someone of my age, like these material things that I've worked towards. All of these things came from fear. Like, I will admit to that 100%. It came out of like it all came from like negative emotions that I've experienced in the past. It was kind of like the desire there was like wanting to be acknowledged, wanting to be recognized instead of like, you know, being put down and told that I was nothing. It was all based on that fear of going back to how I felt before, like that scared, victimized kid in school. My deepest fear is feeling that helpless and vulnerable. So I built this identity of like being like a hard worker, you know, working harder than everyone else. And the idea was like positively reinforced by the fact I have seen success with that. But the process of reaching that success has honestly made me kind of like hate the process of hard work. And it's honestly made me hate myself. I view myself as like a lazy person, even though most of like the evidence, there's like a lot of evidence that points to the contrary, that I'm not lazy. But this cycle of, I don't want to feel bad, you know, I want to achieve something with my life, but I'm not working hard enough. I'm lazy. I need to work harder. Then I do work harder. And I end up like burning myself out to the point where I just end up like hating the work itself. And then I stop working. And then I feel bad again. I feel that shame again. And then I work harder again. It's like this whole process of like tearing yourself down over and over again, and then picking yourself up and doing the whole thing again and again and again. And the limiting factor is always you. It's always you and your ability to like work hard. And it's all based on that same fear again. And I find this very interesting because like a lot of the content that we see online, probably ever since like the Tate brothers blew up, because I used to be very into them. I'm not into them now. But I used to be very into like this whole idea of like, if you don't make it happen, then no one else is going to make it happen for you. And it's somewhat true. But it's also this idea of like everyone is competing for the same resources. If you're not going to get rich, then someone else is going to take the money from you, take the wealth from you. If you don't speak to that girl, or if you don't work on yourself right now, someone is going to take your future wife. It's so competitive. It's all about competing for the same resources, and it's all driven by fear. It's all driven by fear and scarcity, the fear of like losing out on what is rightfully yours. And it's motivating, but it's not coming from like a healthy place. I think like the term to describe this is toxic fuel. And it's also the same reason why I look at my friends who in theory I should be happy for. I'm like, I am happy for them. But I feel fear looking at another man's achievements. I feel like almost like a sense of like jealousy and entitlement. And I've mentioned this to them, like I've mentioned this to them because these feelings start to come out in me. And it's important to acknowledge these feelings because I'm having this response. I feel like sometimes like reluctant to talk to them or call them up. Even though these guys are like great friends to me and I can learn from them, they trigger this response in me that I'm not enough. And that's not their problem. That's something that I've been conditioned into. And I think that everyone experiences this on some level. Being confronted with like uncomfortable truth about yourself, like it's like confirmation bias. It's like we refuse to acknowledge any information which like clashes with like a deeply held belief that we have. I want to believe that I'm a hard worker, but if someone who's been like working on their business for the same amount of time as me has achieved more in the same period of time, I start to feel like a failure. So I have like my unconscious, we call them like protection strategies in emotional regulation, of like avoidance. I like avoid thinking about it because it clashes with that like identity that I've built up. And it's just these really deep rooted patterns that we have. That everything comes back to those like experiences of shame that we had in childhood. And I think the problem with this whole like idea of fear-based motivation, because don't get me wrong, you can achieve things through it. It's that it conditions you into believing that hard work will solve any problem. Hard, painful work that like puts you under extreme stress is the route to achieving your goals. And sometimes it is. But we convince ourselves that anything worth having requires pain, requires like intense effort. It's all worth it, like the ends justify the means. But the problem is there are some problems in life you can't solve through hard work, through effort. Like sometimes less is more, or sometimes redirecting that effort into other things is more effective. Like YouTube is a great example of this. More effort, at least more effort directed at certain things, doesn't guarantee success. YouTube is unpredictable. I used to spend hours and hours and hours just scripting videos, like writing them word for word, coming up with these like amazingly polished scripts. Is that going to guarantee one of my videos goes viral? No, but sometimes I'll spend ages writing these scripts. I clear 1,000 views on a video. Sometimes I get nothing. It's impossible to predict. And there are guys out there who they've never written a script in their life, yet they'll get like 1 million views a video. So there's so many different ways to do this. But I think what I convinced myself, especially on like the YouTube front, is the fact that I haven't blown up and I'm putting all this effort in. The problem is me. The problem is me being lazy. Despite the fact that I'm putting like hours and hours of work in per video, I'm still somehow the problem. There's something intrinsically wrong with me. There's something dislikable about me that would make people not want to watch me. Or I start like obsessing over like really trivial things. Like I'm trying to think of an example, like, you know, like what filter I'd put on the thumbnail, or like, I don't know, just really dumb stuff like that. Just really like meaningless things. You start fixating on them because your mind is like looking for any kind of explanation it can as to like why things aren't going your way. So that's a powerful realization that, well, for me it was that, you know, feeling that fear and then feeling the urge to work harder. You know, I need to work harder. I'm always going to be the problem. when it comes to that approach, I'm never going to be enough. I'm always going to be saying to myself, I need to work harder, or I'm too lazy. And in that moment, after seeing that Instagram post, I really did feel the urge to just fucking work hard for the next 2 hours, put all of my focus and energy into a task, into a YouTube video. But I wouldn't have felt good doing that. And I know not all work is supposed to feel good, but it's this problem of fear-based motivation and things being so intrinsically tied to you and your performance. There's so many emotional highs and lows. Imagine how I felt getting a video with 1,000 views. I felt amazing. I thought this is finally happening for me. I'm going to be a YouTuber. I'm going to move out to Colombia with my guys. And then the next video I'm getting 30 views. But the process hasn't changed. I haven't changed anything about the way that I make videos. And I just come crashing down fuck, I'm a failure. It's never going to happen for me. How could I be this naive to think that I've made it? Shit's not going to happen for me. That is what fear-based motivation is. It's these extremely high highs and absolutely crushing lows. So what I've come to realize through the help of my coach is that it's all about resisting. I've been resisting these negative feelings. I see that post of my friends on Instagram and I don't want to feel that shame. I don't want to feel the shame that it's making me experience. So I resist it, and I resist it through working harder. It's quite deep. It's I could avoid it. I could just bury my head in the sand, or I could work harder. Both of those things would be trying to resist the negative feelings. And what I need to do is develop acceptance of it, or to acknowledge how I'm feeling, and actually recognize that it all comes from those past experiences. It's not necessarily, I might have been triggered by that post of my friends on Instagram, but the way that it's making me feel, the reaction in my body is not from seeing that post. I'm reacting to negative experiences in the past where I was made to feel that shame, where I was made to feel inadequate. It's not the situation unfolding in front of me. It's an emotional memory. So if I give myself the space to just feel that negative feeling, to not push it away, I can kind of look at it objectively. It's not something that I've fully learned how to do yet, but I can look at it objectively, and I can see it for what it is. It's a memory. I can't predict the future. I can't predict whether I'm going to succeed or fail on YouTube. The future is neutral. But so all of this comes from past experiences, and I can determine whether those thoughts that I'm having, or this negative reaction, or the thoughts telling me that I need to work harder, I can determine whether they still serve me. Because most of these are they're old emotional patterns, they're old protective strategies that your brain has developed unconsciously to protect you from feeling like that. And back in the day, they might have protected you, but now the likelihood is that they don't serve you and they're not helping you. To see that for what it is, you first have to let yourself experience that shame, to not try and push it away. If I'd have just blitz through like two hours of work, and it sounds backwards because like surely I'm working, like I'm working towards my goals by doing that, but doing the work in that situation is a form of resistance. So I'm just trying to become aware of those emotional patterns, to look objectively at my work. Like right now, an action I'm taking is to try and stop scripting so many videos, because it's just my perfectionism, it's my fear coming out, and kind of just like hopping on camera with no prep, but doing the actions consistently. Like any sane person would tell you that like posting every day on YouTube, that is gonna boost your odds of success. Like if I'm gonna succeed, I'm more likely to succeed through doing that, through the consistency, through getting the basics right. But as opposed to just like trying to make every video perfect. And I think just over the last week, I've come to this realization that like, I don't need that fear. Like at the end of the day, like I am a disciplined person. I don't need fear to motivate me. And I think I relied on fear as like a way of ensuring that I wasn't going to be lazy. Even though the reality is like I'm not a lazy person. I don't need that fear to motivate me. And I've just not had like the emotional highs and lows. I've just kind of been like neutral. I've looked at the situation objectively and been like, you know, I know what I need to do and I'm just going to keep on doing it. I haven't like felt any like strong way towards what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. And I guess like for me, that's the most sustainable way forward. It's not having to rely on not just like positive motivation, like the dopamine you get after like a video does well, or like that crushing fear and shame I experienced after a video flops. I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle now, and that serves me. So yeah, thanks man. Thanks for watching.